Hello aviators, Eric at Promo Pilot here. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to use Liftoff, Order Desk, and Safsira to fulfill print-on-demand orders. We're going to have three parts to this tutorial. In the first part, we'll configure our product in Safsira. Then we'll configure our product in Liftoff. And then finally, we'll put all the pieces together in Order Desk so that print-on-demand items ordered in Liftoff flow into Order Desk and then are passed on to Safsira. There is a written version of this tutorial if you're interested, and the link will be in the description. With that in mind, let's get started. So let's start at Safsira.com. If you don't have an account yet, you can click sign up. An account is free. If you do have an account, you can go ahead and sign in, which I'll do so now. And now that I'm logged in, I can click on this icon in the top right corner, and I'm going to click on Overview. Now, this isn't a full Safsira tutorial. We're not going to go through the entire dashboard. Really, at this point, we're just concerned with building our product. So I'm going to click on My Products, and you can see some products that I've already configured. Let's go ahead and create a new product. Here in the top right corner, I can access the Safsira catalog, and I can browse through any number of products, really premium stuff from suppliers who you'll recognize. And I can pick the product that I want to start with. Let's go with this polo. At this point, I just need to pick my color and then start designing. I like this blue color. We'll stick with that. And I'll click Start Designing. This opens up the product designing interface, and you should see some tools that are relatively familiar to you if you've used a similar feature on other platforms. We have our imprint area defined by this box, and we have some familiar tools for rotating things, resizing things, centering things. We have our blue one picked, and I'm going to click on Next. And here I get to see a little bit more information about the location for the imprint area. You can see here we can do either left chest or right chest. I'm going to keep it on left chest, and DTF is the imprint method for this item. Now, I've already uploaded some design assets to Safsira. If I needed to upload a new one, I could using this click to upload feature, or I could just drag and drop my file here. I'm going to stick with one that I've already used. And you can see that that image appears in my imprint area. I think I want to move it up a little bit though. And I always get a little paranoid that I'm like slightly moving it one way or another. So I'm going to move it to the top of that imprint area. And then just to be sure, I'm going to center horizontally again, just to make sure it's perfect. Okay. I'm going to click Next. And now I can give this product a name. I'm going to go ahead and call it Promo Pilot, Nike Dry Fit. I'm going to give this a tag. I've already created a tag for Promo Pilot. I could create a new tag if I needed to, but I'm going to keep this one tagged as Promo Pilot. And now I'm going to finish my design. Perfect. Here's my product. I'm going to go ahead and download this image too. I'll use it later when I build this product in Liftoff. Now I'm going to leave this page open, and we're going to note this custom product ID. And we'll come back to this in just a moment. But now that my product is created, I can move over to Liftoff. In Liftoff, before we create our product here, we need to set up a vendor and a fulfillment workflow just to prepare for our product setup. So let's navigate to Products and then Vendors, and we'll add a vendor. And we'll call them Safsira. An address is required here. Typically, if you're going to use this address for your shipping calculations, you would want it to be the address where this product is shipping from. I don't happen to know what that is offhand, so I'm just going to provide a random address. And we'll save and create. Perfect. So we have our vendor created. We don't really need to do anything else here. So we can move on to creating our fulfillment workflow. So back in the products menu, click on fulfillment workflows and click add workflow. The workflow name will also be Safsira. And for your default workflow vendor, choose the Safsira vendor that we just created. Perfect. With our vendor and our fulfillment workflow created, we now need to set up a product classification and a custom product field for that product classification. So back in the products menu, click on product classifications and add a product classification. And we will also call it Safsira. And now, under the products menu, click on custom fields, and we're going to edit custom product fields for Safsira products. And this field name will be print underscore SKU. And then it's nice to provide some help text for your other admins, and we'll just guide them by telling them it should be the Safsira product ID. And then click add. Perfect. So now we have everything in Liftoff ready for us to create the actual product. So let's click on products and add product. And we'll just give it a SKU. Most of this process will be familiar to you if you've set up a product in Liftoff before. But you definitely want to choose Safsira as the fulfillment workflow. Click Save and Create. Now, you'll step through each of these tabs like you normally do. We do want to add a SKU option since this is a wearable. We'll call it size. And then I'm going to take a look at Safsira real quick just to make sure that I understand how they refer to their sizes, because I want those to match. Okay. And then we do automatically create SKUs for these options. Hey, Eric here from the future. I was editing this video and I realized that I forgot to add a very important step here. In addition to creating our SKU options for size, we do need to create one for color also. Now, in Safsira, we are only offering this shirt in one color. We still need that value, though, to be present in the order data because Safsira is going to expect to receive that color name. So before you finish with your SKU options and generate your SKUs, make sure you add an option for color and then come over to Safsira, and you're going to need to know the name of the color of the product you're offering. And you can do that by mousing over the color swatch, and we can see that this one is Gym Blue. And so back in Liftoff, I'm going to create a color SKU option, Gym Blue. Okay. And then that is it. So I'll go ahead and create my SKUs, and then we can proceed from here. So don't forget, even though you're offering the shirt in one color, Safsira still needs to know what that color is. Okay, back to the video. Click Save Changes. And now we have our SKUs. I'm going to go ahead and just make that small one similar to the others. A few minutes ago, I downloaded the virtual that Safsira created for me. And the reason I did that is because I'm going to go ahead and use it for the store. I think that virtual will work perfectly for that. So now we have our image. The next thing I need to set is my custom fields. So you'll remember this is a Safsira product. And so before I can define my custom fields, I actually need to come back to the product tab and under product classification, choose Safsira. Now, when I go to custom fields, I'll have this print SKU available to me. We need to apply this to all variants of this product. And the value that we're going to provide for print SKU is going to be this custom product ID. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the configuration of this product, and then we'll move over to Order Desk. All right, so I got the rest of my product configured, and I'm going to go ahead and submit a test order so that you can see what this looks like when it comes into Order Desk. So click on Complete Order, and let's scoot over to Order Desk. Now, I already have the Liftoff integration configured for Order Desk, and we can step through how I did that real quickly. In Order Desk, you would click on Manage Integrations, search for Liftoff, and then simply enable it. When you do, you'll be able to configure some of these settings. I have Order Desk check Liftoff for new orders every hour. I have those orders imported into the new folder by default. I only download orders that are in process. And then I have sync tracking numbers enabled. How you configure it in your scenario will depend on a lot of factors. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to PromoPilot. We're happy to talk to you about it. If this is your first time adding Safsira to Order Desk, you can find it under Manage Integrations, and then you can search for Safsira, and then click Enable. And when you do this for the first time, it'll ask you to log in to Safsira. Once you have Safsira connected, you'll be taken to a page like this, where you can define which Safsira account you want this store to use, which payment method you want to use, and then some other features which we really don't need to concern ourselves with at the moment. If you need help with the Safsira integration, this link here will take you to the Order Desk documentation. And then you can also view available custom products by clicking this link. And it'll actually show you all of the Safsira products that you've created. And you can see our product 6747, the Nike Dry Fit right here. With the integration for Safsira and Liftoff enabled, the next thing you need to do is build out your rules to take those orders with the Safsira product and send them on to Safsira for fulfillment. But first, I want to show you what an order looks like when it comes in. You'll see that we've got our Nike Dry Fit Polo order. And on this screen, I want to point out a couple of important things. I'm going to click this Show Metadata button, and it's going to show us the items metadata. And a lot of this should be pretty familiar to you, right? We've got the size that was selected for the order here, that print SKU custom field, the value that we put in is right here, 6747, and our origin name for this item is Safsira. That's why we needed to set up that vendor and fulfillment workflow so that that information comes along in that item metadata. So now that you've seen what an order looks like when it comes into Order Desk, and we've reviewed the item metadata, let's build a rule that looks at that metadata and decides, oh, okay, this is a Safsira item. We need to send this item to be fulfilled by Safsira. And we do that by navigating to the rule builder. And you'll see I have two rules for Safsira. This first rule is an item rule, and I'll show you how it's configured. So first, this order runs when the order is imported. So when Order Desk checks for a new Liftoff order and it brings it into Order Desk, it's going to run this rule. And basically this rule says, if the item's metadata, Liftoff origin name, equals Safsira, then what we're going to do is we're going to set a new order item metadata called print SKU, and we're going to give it the value that came in the Liftoff print SKU metadata. We're basically creating a new bit of data that says, oh, the Liftoff print SKU is set to 6747. Well, let's create one just called print SKU and make that value 6747 also. We also do something similar with the color. So the value from Liftoff comes over in a field called liftoff_color. We just need a field that's called color that has that same value. And then we do it for the size also. I've given this rule a name. It's just called item origin is Safsira. And all it's doing is it's adding the metadata that Safsira is going to expect when we send this to them. The second rule in this workflow simply sends this order to Safsira after these changes have just been made. And the way that works is the action is set simply to submit order to Safsira. Now, in my environment, I have a few other rules set up that I've been testing with. But in this case, if you're just doing a store with Safsira, these are the only rules that you're going to need. And reminder, there's a link in the description to the written version of this if you want to be able to just copy and paste these values into Orderdesk for yourself. And that's it. We've created our product in Safsira. We created that same product in Liftoff. We tied it back to our Safsira product by giving it the print SKU of 6747. And then in Orderdesk, we created our rules so that when an order with a Safsira item comes in, it automatically sends that order to Safsira for fulfillment. So with my new rules created and turned on, if I was to place an order for that same shirt in Liftoff again, I would expect that when that order comes into Orderdesk, it will go ahead and create that order for me at Safsira. And to check that, you can view the order history for a specific order, perhaps a test order, and you would see under the order history the different rules being applied, the print metadata being updated, and then eventually the order being sent to Safsira. You would also be able to find that order in the Safsira dashboard under your orders. If you're going to place a test order, I highly recommend working with and communicating with the team at Safsira so that that order can either go to production like it normally would or be canceled. And that is it. So I hope you found this helpful. Sometimes it's a little easier to see somebody step through the process themselves. Again, check the description for a link to the written tutorial. If you have any questions about Orderdesk or Safsira or Liftoff, we're always happy to talk to you. Check us out at promopilot.io. Cheers.